This is lesson 50, part 2, dividing by a fraction. So this is course 1, and now what we're doing here is we're using a lot of information and skills we should already have from previous lessons, and we're just applying them in a new way. So one of the big things we're going to be working with today is reciprocals. Remember, a reciprocal is a number you times by a number that makes 1. Okay, so for example, it might be a quarter times by the reciprocal fraction, which is the opposite. So you just flip it, because 1/4 and 4 ones times together equals 1. So this is this fraction's reciprocal. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to use that to find the answer to some division problems. So if we have 3 divided by 1/4, now there's a couple ways we can do this. I can actually draw this out if I wanted to, okay? So remember, there's 3 wholes, and you're asking how many quarters are in 3 wholes, okay? So I'm taking 3 wholes and I'm breaking it into quarters. So you do that by breaking all of these thirds into quarters, and you'd say, okay, well, how many 1/4s are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's how many 1/4s there are, right? Because each of these pieces is a quarter. So there are 12 quarters in all. So according to my drawing, my answer should be 12. Let's see if it is. Now, how you're going to solve this is you're going to come up here and you're going to go, okay, 3 divided by 1/4. I don't know the answer to that. But you know what I can do is I can do multiplication instead. So I find the reciprocal fraction of 1/4, which is 4 ones. But because I've switched this fraction, I need to switch this. Okay, so because I'm doing the reciprocal now, I'm doing multiplication instead of division. So this changes to 3 multiplied by 4/1. Oops, sorry, not 4/4, 4/1. Okay, and we know, okay, from previous lessons that 4/1 is actually just 4. Okay, so you're doing 3 times 4. 3 times 4 equals 12. Now, if you didn't get that right away, you could have done the 4/1 and then gone to this one and said, okay, well, that's 3 wholes. 3 wholes is 3/1. Do my multiplication. 3 times 4 is 12. 1 times 1 is 1. 12/1 is 12. Okay, same answer. So you can do it both ways. Now, the picture method works really, really well for as long as you're doing smaller numbers. As soon as you start getting into bigger numbers, more complicated numbers, this starts to become much more tedious and much more unviable for actually figuring out an answer in a given amount of time. This is the way that we want you to do, okay? We want you to be able to recognize that 3 divided by 1/4 is the same as 3 times 4 ones. Okay, because this is the reciprocal to this piece. Let's look at another one together. Okay, so this one, again, I will do the picture, but as you see, it's going to start getting a little bit more. All right, so we're looking at 6 divided by 3/4. So I'm going to start with my drawing. I'm going to do 6 wholes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And because I'm looking at 3/4, all of these have to be broken into quarters. Do you see where this starts getting tedious? Okay, and now I need to count how many 3/4 are in 6. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 5, 1, 2, 3, 6, 1, 2, 3, 7, 1, 2, 3, 8. We have 8 3/4 in 6. Now, if you missed it, what I was doing is I was counting 1, 2, 3, because those 3 together is 3/4, right? So I'd count 3, count it as 1, and then I'd count 3 again. 1, 2, 3, because these 2 plus this 1 makes 3/4, so that's another 1. And then I was marking them all down as we go. So doing this method, I came up with 8. Okay, let's see if I get the same one from up top. Now, this was quite long, and I had to do a bunch of counting and drawing, and it works, but it's not really the best method. So up here, we're going to do a different method. This is what I would like you to be able to do. This is what we're learning today. So 6 divided by 3/4 with the reciprocal gets changed into 6 times 4/3. Okay, because this is the reciprocal fraction to 3/4, and because I've changed it to the reciprocal, I need to change this to the inverse or opposite as well. So this is division moving into multiplication. Reciprocal, opposite. Now I do my multiplication. Now remember 6 is actually 6/1. So this is going 6 times 4 is 24. 1 times 3 is 3. Turn that into lowest terms. Always, always, always when you're doing fractions, turn them into lowest terms unless otherwise stated, and it will almost never be otherwise stated. So lowest terms. Okay. Now 3 goes into 3 goes into 24. How many times? 3 goes into 24 8 times, because 3 times 8 equals 24. So again, I have 8 this way, I have 8 this way. Both methods work. This method is faster. Okay. It also, again, as we start getting into bigger and bigger numbers, this method is going to allow you to do that. Where this method starts getting very tedious the bigger the numbers and the more different the fractions are. If this had been 6 divided by 4/15, I would have had to find a way to break all these circle into 15 pieces, then count them all out. It's just not feasible. Okay, could I do it? Yes, but it would take me much, much longer than coming over and changing into the reciprocal. Okay, so again, I took my main, what I started with, okay, I changed it into this bit, into the reciprocal, which is changing division into multiplication and then reciprocal fraction, did my multiplication, lowest terms, and ended up with 8. Okay, that is lesson 50, part 2, dividing by a fraction for course 1.